Hello, and welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for clicking on that link in the YouTube listing of videos or the announcement that you got that I published a new video. However you find my channel, thank you. And we're going to continue with my exploration of the wide world of pens. This is the third of the Hongdian stealth pens that I got. And this is in another box. It's a nice box. You know, a lot of that, what I would consider Chinese legalese here on the back. And since I bought this on AliExpress from the Hongdian store, if you buy this pen, you may or may not get a box, or you may or may not get a box like this. Just keep that in mind. The lid just comes right off, and we see the pen. It's in a nice, soft, cushiony thing, and this pulls off. And in here, we have 2 packs of Hongdian ink cartridges, which I will never use. I would assume these are both black. I didn't ask for them, but I got them anyways. So the first comment on this pen is it has a good weight to it. It's a classic design. You know, you can actually use that end of the clip to bring up the clip if you want to put it into your shirt or put it into a pen case, or very well done. Every pen from Hongdian that I've ever had has had a very substantial functional clip. This is that dark chrome trim, the same thing we found on the 517D, which we recently reviewed. The other Hongdian thing is we have labeling here, LT Hongdian, and the model is 660. I also have this in a standard wood coloring with some nice grain in it. This is the Ebony version. Ebony and ivory. So, that's the pen. It feels good in the hand. The finish is just absolutely beautiful. The cap comes off in 1 1/4 turns, which is great. And we'll see that black nib that we've seen before. And it's a fine. Comes an extra fine, and bent nib version. So I got a couple bent nibs. I wanted a couple fines. I really like the way they've done this metal piece here. I like the little metal ring at the end of the section. A nice classic design section. No reason to make that section wonky, which a lot of people do. And there's some interesting engraving at that bottom of those threads. Aesthetically, I cannot fault this pen in any way. The barrel unscrews and you can just spin it off, and we'll see black chrome again. Very consistent in their application of the design elements of this pen. I think this is a great Hongdian converter. Yes, it has a little ball in it, but I'm not going to worry about taking it out. I can unscrew this and take it out. The converter's branded, and that's the pen. It's going to be a quick review. I have an ink to put in here, an ink that you haven't seen me use, but I've had for a while, and I think this is the perfect pen to put it in. Stay tuned. Like with the other Hongdian stealth pen, the 517D, they made the 660 in a number of different wood finishes, but I have to admire, respect, and really enjoy how Hongdian has adapted the stealthy design with a dark chrome on all the metal bits. It's a classic design pen. And if we take a look at the nib and section, we'll see a consistent style and design. Same bits were used, but obviously here dark chrome, black nib, here gold plating, and a gold plated nib. The engraving is the same on both of these, which is nice. I'm just impressed with the consistency of Hongdian and how they're able to take a classic design like this and interpret it in many ways, giving us collectors so many more options and many ways to spend our money. So here's the 660 Disassembled. No surprises here. Just, we continue to see it's really well done. Even this metal section here, which is hidden when you have the pen assembled, is in that black chrome. And the dogs are barking. It's a very well-made pen. It's made out of a ebony style of wood. It could be any type of wood, but stained very black. You got an upscale converter here. I love the matte finish on the converter, and it is branded by Hongdian. Your classic nib assembly. A little O-ring at the end of that assembly, which to me is the perfect design. I just think it's great with that interesting little engraving there at that metal insert. And they did a good job to make certain that this wooden pen is going to survive the test of time and provide you with a good writing experience for years and years. So this is the ink that I've decided to use, which you've never seen me use before. And this is a fairly old bottle. Those that follow the Pelican brand and the brand of ink may recognize this bottle. It has a nice little pelican with two chicks on the top. I have this here because I want to show you the price. $3.29 from Pearl Paint. They had a great store on Canal Street in New York City for a while, so I'd say this bottle is at least 20 years old. And they had a fountain pen department, which was a great place to buy pens. They always had an excellent price, great selection. Unfortunately, the store no longer exists. I got a nice full fill. These converters work well. Let's put the nib to paper. I always like to see how black inks are resistant to water. So we're going to do a water test. I wrote this yesterday on copy paper. So we're going to dip it in and see what happens. Water test here is written with the Noodler's Lexington Gray, which I know is water resistant. So we're going to let it set for 5 minutes or so. Right off the bat, I would say I'm pretty happy. It seems to be at least resisting water initially, which is always a good thing. We see after 5 minutes, there is a little bit of spread, but we're going to go another couple minutes, and then we'll pull it out, dry it off, and see how much of that ink remains on the paper. Well, we've waited long enough, so let's pull it out. And I would say it has good water resistance, as good as the Lexington Gray from Noodler's. So it gets a passing grade to use as a permanent black ink. I'm happy. The Pelican 4001 Brilliant Black has this nib writing very well. Unlike the 517D nib, which didn't write as well, had a lot of feedback, this nib is okay. So that's why I didn't really ding the other one for the nib that I didn't like, because of the heavy feedback, and also the line was finer than I thought it should be. And as you can see, this lays down a lot of ink. So one of the things you can conclude is Pelikan 4001 is a wet ink, at least in brilliant black. So let's rate this pen. I'm going to give it a 9.8. One check for being extremely well made, one check for being extremely stealthy, one check for being made of wood, and I give the nib a check. So that's why we get to 9.8. So it's the end of this quick review. Hopefully you found it interesting, enjoyable, educational. Thank all of you for watching. I appreciate every viewer. Comment if you'd like. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you want. Hey, that's your choice. If I make content which is something you like, then please give me some feedback. Hope this video finds you safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, enjoying putting ink on paper, because that's what these are designed to do, and this is certainly a very nice design to do that with. If we've reached the end of this video, and we will say bye. This is working well. Pelikan ink, even though it's like 30 years old, works like a charm.